Okay. Is it time to start looking at the buffs? Okay. So, this is V1, and we can have V3. I guess V2, V3, whatever, who cares? Burst didn't change. Skill did change. This is now 76.60. This is now 266.56. This is now 190.4. Same here. We've got 76.16. We've got 266.56. And we've got 190.4. Okay. So, percent of V2. Was that the only thing that changed? Yeah, right? Sig 2, but who cares? And then vodyanitsa. Was it just a 17 to 25? No. There's also more shred, right? It's 30 shred, right? 30 and 35 now. This is 125. 125. I know it's only a town level 10. That's fine. This is 1.1. This is fine. This is 1.1. This is 1.1. This is 1.1. This is 1.125. Is that true? Yes. This is 1.1. This is 1.1. This is 1.1. This is 1.1. This is 1. Yeah. Okay. So the shred is plus 4k. And then more quills. Do we consume all of them on Vesna? Percentage of V2 is 11%. Okay. That's a pretty big vodyanitsa buff. Should be better for skirk. I don't know if it'll be better for skirk. It'll be like the same for skirk. But she is already the best slot for skirk teams, so sure can consume all the quills. Yeah, but you're consuming all the quills here too. Like you consume 24.5 of the 25 quills. That's good enough. You know? Isn't C2R1 Vesna extremely strong right now? I mean, they buffed the Sig, so probably. It was already pretty strong. Like, it's mainly just, like, Vesna is the first stellar character that doesn't have... Like, the first stellar carry that's, like, newly released that doesn't have, like, the worst constellations you've ever seen. Because she's the second carry. The second, like, newly released stellar carry. And Sandrone's cons are really bad. To be honest, Vesna is half or a little more than half of team DPS. I mean, that's not entirely true. Like, here, she's 60%. And here, it's, like, 54%. I guess this one's a closer to half with vodyanitsa. We don't add the vortex damage cheating. I mean, the stats impact vortex damage here. Because she's primary. So if you get, like, looking at, like, damage distribution and, like, damage contribution to teams is mostly meaningful to, like, approximate the impact of constellations and SIGs, right? So if it's damage that's increased, like, SIG, then, yeah. Are you getting her now after the buffs? I don't think the buffs matter. I'm still on the fence. Do you think vodyanitsa still needs buffs? No. Like, I was of the opinion that vodyanitsa being relatively weak is good for the game. My issues with vodyanitsa wasn't her balance, it's her kit design. It's the worst mess of a kit design I've ever seen. But in terms of balance, I think it's fine for there to be... Like, I think Inefa was a massive balance mistake. Inefa's shield should be on the burst, basically. If they want to keep her basically the same unit. I kind of wish they swapped the EM buff and the shield. Where, like, you get EM buff just from using skill, but you don't get the shield. I think that bringing defensive utility should have an offensive drawback. I'm not a fan of the fact that Linnea is a healer, but at least using her burst feels bad, right? Inefa is holding back Flynn's Southern Galaxy of Llama if she was Electro and Flynn's was, like, way better than he is now. That's not Inefa holding Flynn's back. That's Llama putting Nefer on her shoulders. Inefa is very good. It's just that Llama is the character that has basically the most bullshit in her kit in the game. You give Llama to basically any archetype, and all of a sudden, the archetype is better. Because that's how Lunar Bloom was balanced. It was balanced around the fact that Llama does as much as she does. I don't think Inefa is that good. I mean, the further we get into the game, the further we get with power creep, the less good Inefa becomes, because Inefa's main thing is she deals damage. And the amount of damage that she does is really high. But that really high is relative to what else exists in the meta, and with power creep, really high eventually becomes high, and then not that high, and then Furina. Well, but it needs to allow Furina to not go Fav and Skirk teams. I still feel bad about having her Sig being unused. Maybe. Honestly, maybe. Because, like, one of the reasons why you go Fav on Furina is because Furina's not the only character that needs the energy. Right, you need it on Niskafie too. Will we look at buff Vesna Sig? Sure. Beyond the Chrysalis. Chrysalis? Probably Chrysalis, right? That's probably how you say that word. Okay, so Sig. What changed here? They don't have the changes here. This is 56 and this is 30 something. I mean, first let's take a look at the old one so we can take a look at the buff, like to the weapon only. So this is before the buff. This is including the Vesna buff from V3, but not the Sig buff. So we just look at the Sig buff only. So the Sig got buffed by about like 2.6%. It is more energy. Is it enough to get burst every rotation reliably? I mean, it's a 4 energy difference. How many particles does she get? People were saying it was bugged before. Is it still bugged? Anyone on 5 in this team? Farazan, I guess. Okay, so her ER requirement, default, is a bit high, with no energy refund. With pre-buff Sig, it's 135. With post-buff Sig, it's 125. So it's basically 10% ER. 135 is probably high enough that you'll have to sacrifice stats to burst every rotation. 125 is starting to get to the point where that's achievable through substats just by rolling ER. Like rolling pieces that have ER. Is a new Battle Pass weapon worth it for Vesna? Without Sigs, it's kinda... Or without Refines, it's kinda... meh. Yeah, I guess this team was a 2-swap Farazan team, right? Okay, so realistically... I mean, 117 was already achievable. Did they overshoot the Vesna buffs? I don't think so. She's still worse than Farazan, so, like, I think that's fine. Oh, sorry, Vesna buffs. My bad. No. I mean, the buffs aren't that big. Because, like, the buffs look big in a vacuum, right? It's 238 to 266.56 and 68 to 76.16, which yeah. So it's a 12% buff to her personal damage. But it's not actually to her personal damage. It's a 12% buff to the portion of her personal damage that is Stellar Swirl directly. And to begin with, she wasn't a traditional hyper carry, right? You look at the portion of her, or of the damage that is hers in the teams before the buffs from the Stellar Swirl stuff, and it's about 40%. And that doesn't include the burst. Or, like, the 40% includes the burst, which didn't get buffed, right? Like, the overall buff to the team DPS, but through buffing her, is about 4%. It's not that meaningful. The thing is, she was in a position where she was better than C2 Yume Glorb, but not by that much. And the buffs made the gap much more significant, right? It does not look like 40%. Because this damage includes her Animo damage and the Vortex damage, right? If we take that out, it's a lot closer. This is post buff, so it's a bit more than 40%, but yeah.
Goose on the loose!
Yeah!
Goose on the loose!
Goose on the loose!